Mom Training Podcast with Diana Ballard.
Hey, it's Diana. I was scared to become a mom. I was self-employed, traveled around the world, and I was afraid I'd lose myself, my ambition, be restricted, and be a hot mess. I started interviewing hundreds of moms to figure out what skill sets and mindsets I needed to keep my future family a priority and have the time, energy, and resources to achieve my own goals and hobbies. Each week we discuss how to run a successful household and enjoy your roles as mom, spouse, housewife, and individual. Come learn how to create the life you want while having a family. I'm glad you're here. Hey girl, I am coming at you from inside of my Honda Odyssey van with my microphone inside a large insulated lunchbox. And to some, they might think, girl, you are ghetto. How do you expect to be a professional without your professional studio set up or, some corner in your house where you've decked out with padded walls and, have this expensive microphone that looks cool, that you have it's this perfect setup to do something. I'm going to tell you what, I use this insulated lunchbox to record my podcasts all the time in random freaking places. I can literally whip out my Mac, whip out this lunchbox, which I've only dedicated now to my microphone. Okay, it's protected. That's where my microphone is kept and all squishy and not going to get all beat up and everything. And I got my microphone from my husband for our anniversary gift last year. I'm literally around the corner from my house because the street that I live on was way too busy. I was they're going to hear tons of cars on this crap. And I'm sitting here in front of a random person's house recording a podcast for my listeners. And you know what? I don't give a crap if this is the most glorious thing. I'm sure that if people see me right now, they look out their window, they'll be like, why is that girl talking into a lunchbox? Sitting there and she's animated, her hands are moving. What is this chick doing? I'll tell you what I'm doing right now. I am actively living my dream. I am actively getting stuff done. I had crap to do. My husband's home with the kids. He's working on stuff on the house, so I can't record in the house. The kids are running around. I can't record in the basement. You'll hear footsteps upstairs. A lot of times I record at night, but I had some topics. I had some things to say, and now is the time. I want to ask you, what is your excuse for not achieving the things you want to do? What is your excuse for holding back from being your best self and the best mom that you can be? What is your excuse? I will tell you what, being consistent with this podcast every week, there are plenty of times I am a mom with 3 babies. Almost 5-year-old, a 2-year-old, and an 8-month-old. Give me a break. Do you think that this is just easy? There are many times when excuses could come up and take things away from me. There are millions of times when I have thought dude, this is insane that we are wanting to travel the world while having a little family. But we're still doing it, and the pros outweigh the cons. What is your excuse from not living your best life, having an awesome marriage, being such a fun mom? What is your excuse? What are you putting off? What is putting off your happiness in your family? One thing that has brought me great success in working on things outside of the family life, running a business, being self-employed, traveling around the world while still having a family, is focusing on what I can do best in my home first. Am I keeping my kids and my husband and my household a priority? And It is almost like a magical law. When I take care of my home, when I take care of my relationships, things blossom everywhere else. Now, does that mean I don't have boundaries? Does that mean I'm not asking for help? Does that mean my husband's not helping me with dishes? Oh no. He is helping me with the dishes sometimes. He is watching the kids for me because I've asked him to. He is, he's a partner. He's a teammate with me. But with those boundaries, they also know that they are number one, that they are respected, and that they are loved. And when those things are in order, everything else can fall into place. So, what is your excuse? Is it that you don't believe it's possible? Or maybe you need to create more boundaries of, no, this is bedtime. This is when we eat dinner. If you don't eat dinner, then you don't get any more food after. Because after bedtime is when mommy takes care of things that she needs to take care of. Whether that be the kitchen, mopping the floor, spending time with daddy, spending extra quality time with daddy. Writing in your journal, or doing some yoga before bed, or just decompressing, reading a book. Whatever it means. What is your excuse preventing you from being your happiest self? One of the biggest things that moms struggle with is their self-care. And there are a million reasons or excuses why we don't get that self-care. A lot of mindsets, a lot of martyrdom. And yes, motherhood takes sacrifice. It does. Just accept that. But let's shift our mindset just a little bit. What can I do to get what I need to be able to have a little extra time for hobbies? For me, working is a hobby. Like, you ask me what I want to do in my free time. Oh, I'm working on something. I love it. I dig it. I'll do it. So, what excuses do you have for having a little hobby on the side? Maybe one that even makes you money. What excuses are in your life with having a good marriage, with having kids that listen to you, good relationships with people around you, enough money to pay for the things that you need to and not stress about it? Look into your life today. What excuses do I have that are keeping me from being happy? What excuses am I holding on to and determined to hold on to that are going to keep me from success? I could have sat in my house and been ticked off because there was no silence in my house, or I can sit in front of this random person's house right now who just came home, by the way. I'm like, hey, what's up? Talking into this lunchbox. Yep, you will probably never see me again, but you might, because I have the mom training podcast on the side of my van. So I'm totally identifiable, if that's even a word. But you guys, there's some things you can't care about. Some things you just have to use creativity to mold your life into what you want it to be. Find those excuses and challenge them. Challenge the excuses that you're having. And weigh out the pros and cons. I'm a total writer, paper person. Sit down with a paper and write out the pros and cons between what these mindsets and excuses are and what they mean to you and why you hold on to them. Do weird things to make life happen. Dance around like a crazy person as you get your kids into their room and just love on them and get them in, in bed. And, stay in bed. Make up a little fairy that comes in and does, do something. Just don't be afraid to do something that you've never done before or that seems a little weird, like talking into a lunchbox. But you know what? I feel accomplished. Talking into this lunchbox brings me joy, and it brings me accomplishment and fulfillment, and I'm not going to be ticked at my family. It brings me peace. Oh, God bless this lunchbox, which a friend gave me actually when I had my last baby. She brought me this lunchbox it's like a bag, like cooler bag lunchbox thing. She brought it full of like all these like amazing healthy treats for me in the hospital. And little does she know, I need to tell her that this bag has become way more than just the cooler bag that we take places with us. But that this cooler bag lunchbox is bringing me joy and fulfillment and defying my excuses and defying any restrictions I have on myself of what I cannot do as a mother. I, as a mother, as a woman, as a wife, as a homemaker, has the capacity and the capability to live my best life, to enjoy my family life while doing rad, awesome, fun things. I hope you can find that for yourself. And you know what? While I'm thinking about it, take a screenshot of this podcast and post it somewhere where other mamas can be inspired. There's too many excuses around motherhood of not enjoying motherhood and it being restricting. And it's making young women not even want to be mothers. But it's all about how you look at things and how much you're willing to use creativity to create the life, the family life, the mama life, the romantic life. It's all about how much you're willing to change your mindset and be like, you know what? I can achieve this right now if I go do this. Oh, you know what? I can do this if I'm willing to throw out this thought to, change this routine up a little bit. And here I am. Girl, find your lunchbox. Find your thing that you can do to destroy the excuses that are getting in your way. You rock. Now go share this, and we'll see you next Tuesday on the Mom Training Podcast. Hit subscribe so you don't miss anything. You can hit me up on social media at Diana Ballard Live or on my website at dianaballard.com. See you next week.